Hello class, welcome to our video review lecture of pages 57 and 59 in Writing Logically, Thinking Critically. Where we left off last time was on standard form. And remember, standard form means you're able to break an argument down into its essence, into its conclusion and premises. Premises are facts to support the conclusion. So for essay 1, your conclusion was Mrs. Mallard did or did not die of joy because of various facts. And those facts should have come from your analysis of the story, and you organize those facts according to the elements of fiction: plot, character, setting, symbol, style, theme, point of view. For the next essay, for essay 2, same deal. Your conclusion, right, has to do with the poem. What do you think the point of the poem is? What do you think the point the poem makes about a certain theme? And the facts, the premises to support that conclusion, are going to come from your analysis of the poem. And in addition to looking at the elements of fiction, you'll now look at the elements of poetry, page 100 to 104. So in addition to plot, character, setting, symbol, style, theme, point of view, on pages 76 to 79, in reading and writing about literature, you're also going to focus on pages 100 to 104. Speaker, listener, form, rhyme, stanzas, lineations, engem, and caesuras. All those elements of poetry become the facts, the premises, right, that support your inference or your conclusion when you break something down into standard form. This is the deal. If the structure is ambiguous, that means it's unclear. That means the premises are not clear, they're not based on facts, and they may be relying on hidden assumptions. So if you pick up on page 57 with ambiguous argument structure and you move on to page 58, that leads us into the idea of Occam's razor. Occam's razor is a very valuable principle. It suggests that when you have competing theories, you pick the theory with the least amount of new assumptions. It does not mean the simplest answer is the best. It's the simplest line of reasoning is usually the best. And since we're in a critical thinking class, reasoning is very important. What can be done with fewer assumptions is done in vain with more. In other words, the simplest line of reasoning is usually the best. Page 58, the definition of Occam's razor. Now, let's apply Occam's razor to the editorial A Dangerous Game. Premise number 1, right? By adding 10 feet to the pitching distance, both hitters and pitchers would have more time to avoid being hit by the ball. Safety. Number 2, by adding 10 feet, the pitching distance and baseline distances will make for a more interesting game. So 2 premises: safety, and the game will be more interesting and exciting. Therefore, the conclusion is what? They should move the pitching distance and baseline distances 10 feet. Those facts are clearly stated. Now, the problem is when people make decisions based on assumptions, right? And perhaps it leads them to avoid looking at the facts. And that's where Occam's razor comes in. Hidden assumptions can be very damaging to a critical thinking thought process, right? Remember, a fact is something that can be verified. I think one of the best ways to explain Occam's razor is looking at Hamlet. Right? In Act 3, Scene 3, Hamlet comes upon Claudius. The whole point of the play is, right, he's waiting for his proof because he's a logical, critical thinker. He doesn't want to just enact revenge unless he has proof. So he comes upon Claudius and he assumes Claudius is praying, right? This is after the play. When Hamlet sees how Claudius reacts, Horatio sees how he reacts, Hamlet now has his proof. So now He has a logical reason, right, to obtain his revenge. So what does he do? He comes upon Claudius. Think about all these assumptions. He assumes Claudius is praying. He assumes Claudius is sorry. He assumes Claudius will be forgiven. And he assumes if he kills him right then and there, because of the first three assumptions, he'll send Claudius to heaven. So what does he say? Nope. Up sword, and know thou a more horrid hint. He says, no, I'm going to wait because, again, more assumptions. He assumes he'll get another chance to kill him. He assumes he'll be able to kill him when he's not praying or being forgiven so that he wouldn't go to heaven because he assumes he'll be able to send him to hell. Didn't know you were God, Hamlet. Now, some more logical uses of Occam's razor in everyday life. Uh, when people turn out to be distrustful or cheat, and they say, well, no, 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 I'm not going to do it again because, and they give you all these reasons why you should trust them again, be careful. I'm not saying you shouldn't trust them, but you're assuming that all of the reasons they give you, they're actually going to be true to. And if they were lying to you then, why would they be telling you the truth now in the sense that you must trust them 100%? So once people damage their ethos, it's a problem. And a lot of times, uh, appealing to emotions covers up the facts, right? And prevents us from using Occam's razor. And I'm not saying it's 100% right, but Occam's razor is usually correct in that when you have conflicting theories to make a decision, use the one that makes the least amount of assumptions, right? The simplest line of reasoning is usually the best. What can be done with fewer assumptions is done in vain with more. We'll come back to Occam's razor as we continue to analyze Hamlet's decision-making process uh, throughout the play. Again, it is a tragedy, and the reason why we're reading these plays is to look at the choices the characters make, and could they have maybe used Occam's razor, uh, focused more on logos, avoided hidden assumptions, tried to rely on the facts, put their arguments in standard form, question their worldviews, right? These are all things that relate to the decision-making process so far. And hopefully it's not just about relating these ideas to our analysis of fiction and the essays we write. It's about making logical decisions in life. So hopefully you can benefit from them. All right? Thanks for your patience. Stay tuned. More to come.